Hello there, just a quick video before this video, just to apologise for the delay in this one being uploaded. I actually saw this film last Monday, which was Easter Monday. It's now the following Sunday. I just haven't had a chance to sort of sit and upload the video and do all the bits and pieces. I'll be doing that now, catching up with a few things. It's been a fairly busy couple of weeks. I'm looking forward now to a couple of quiet weeks, which would be very nice. So yeah, that's why this video was recorded last week and is appearing today. Thank you very much. See you on the other side. Hello, welcome back to my world of stuff. The Lost City is directed by Adam and Aaron Nee, who co-wrote the script, and is a rattling good new old school adventure film starring Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum, Daniel Radcliffe, and in a cameo role, Brad Pitt. This is fun for anybody who remembers so fondly the Indiana Jones films. Things like Romancing the Stone, which is actually quite cleverly referenced in one visual image in the film. And it takes us back to the days of those unpretentious, pure adventure films, a sort of a will they, won't they romantic subplot about these two unlikely people, mismatched people thrown together in an extraordinary life or death situation and having to fight against extreme odds to find their way back to civilization and safety. It's a hoot and a half. I really enjoyed this. Now, the trailers have been out for a few weeks, a couple of months probably, and I thought this looks really good. I've not been a huge fan of Sandra Bullock. I'm not hugely familiar with her work, of course. I know her from things like Speed and Gravity. She's done a lot of fairly lightweight sort of rom-coms and things that aren't my cup of tea. But she's really hit the spot with this. She gives a great performance as a writer called Loretta Sage. She's in a bit of a slump. She writes these adventure books, these fairly mindless action-adventure stories. And she's disillusioned. She writes these things, but there's a bit of a tragic backstory. Her husband died 5 years ago, and she's thrown herself into her work, churning out these, penny dreadful books, if you like. But her heart's not really in it anymore. And she and her husband were quite noted historians and almost archaeologists, say, sort of explorers and so on. But she's just got into the routine of churning out these adventure books. And her new book is coming out. She eventually finishes it, and she has to attend a press launch. At the press launch is Alan, played by Channing Tatum. He's the sort of slightly airhead model who plays the character of Chad, her hero character on the cover of her books. And he's got sort of flowing blonde hair and muscles, and he prances across the stage, completely upstaging her. And she just can't cope with this. She's had enough of the mindlessness of it, so she walks out of the press launch. But as she walks out of the press launch, she's kidnapped by the mysterious and evil Abigail Fairfax, played by Daniel, yes, him of Harry Potter, Radcliffe, complete with full beard, which I'm not sure if it was a full beard or stick-on beard. Looked like a bit of both. He whisks her off across the Atlantic to this remote island, where he instructs her to use her prior archaeological knowledge to decipher a code on a map, which will lead to a secret treasure which he's desperate to get his hands on. Meanwhile, Alan has got feelings for Loretta, but he's never really been able to express them because he feels a bit sort of bedeviled by her intelligence and fame. But he has to rescue her. He knows he has to rescue her. So he enlists the aid of Jack Trainer, a Naval SEALs, ex-Navy SEALs acquaintance of his, played extraordinarily by Brad Pitt. And together the two set off to rescue Loretta from the clutches of the evil Abigail. It's just great fun. I mean, like I said, if you've seen the Indiana Jones films, if you've seen Romancing the Stone, all those adventure films of the 80s and 90s, National Treasure, all these things, and even more recently, Jungle Cruise and possibly even Uncharted from a few months ago. It's very much of that oeuvre, but it's done without artifice, without pretension, without any pandering to modern tastes, if you like. There's no box ticking, I think is the popular expression at the moment. It's about a man and a woman thrown together in extraordinary circumstances who discover that they've got more in common than they might have thought, and they have to fight extreme circumstance and danger to survive. It's just terrific fun. It's a film that you sit and watch with a great big grin on your face all the way through, because it's familiar territory. We've seen it before. We've seen this before. But it's nice to revisit a style of film that they don't make anymore, but they do, and they've made it. It's called The Lost City. It's great fun. It's really funny. The script is very knowing. It's very witty. It's referencing itself, and it's referencing the world that the film is creating. Very, very clever. I mean, there's some great set pieces. You've seen the clips of the sequence where Channing Tatum's character is covered in leeches. That goes on a little bit further than we've seen on the clips on TV. But it's so funny. His comic timing is superb, and her comic timing is superb. And they really are. They spark together on screen absolutely brilliantly. A lot of it seemed to me, or some of it seemed to me, as if it must have been sort of improvised. There were little things, little quips and little things, little background dialogue things that you think must have been made up on the spot. It's hard to imagine them being scripted. But it's joyous. It's just great fun. If you're in the mood for a rattling good adventure story, which isn't too risque, it's a family film, really. There's a couple of little bits that might sail over the kids' heads, but there's no real profane language. There's no effing and jeffing. The violence is quite tame for what it is. There's one bit of sort of extreme bloodshed, but that's quite amusing in the way it's done. But it's very much a family adventure film. Just good-natured. I sat there, I went with a friend of mine, and we just had these big grins on our faces all the way through the film. We were laughing. It's just a clever script, great characterization, great performances. It's a film that's just fun in every way. It must have been fun to make. It's fun to watch. Beautifully filmed. The locations are in the Dominican Republic, these jungle locations. It's beautifully, beautifully done. And it's nice to see a film where people are actually there on location. There's so much green screen and all this rotating sort of stuff that they do with backgrounds these days. It's nice to see actors actually out there getting dirt under their fingernails and having this adventure. It's terrific. I mean, I mentioned Daniel Radcliffe playing the villain. I mean, he plays this sort of multi-millionaire magnate who's like owns half share of this huge corporation, and you can't take him seriously as that because he's Harry bloody Potter and he's got this beard and he just still looks so young. And there's actually a very amusing line in the film towards the end of the film that sort of references that, and it sort of acknowledges the fact that they know the audience is thinking this. It's very funny. It's just full of laugh out loud, real laughs. Just a good, you come out of it just feeling better. Great fun. There's not a lot more I can say about it really, because it's very straightforward. It's very unpretentious, and that's so good to go and watch a film where you haven't got to furrow your brow and worry if it's dealing with issues and presenting the right representation of certain characters and certain things. It's just people having fun in the jungle, getting into trouble. Brilliant. Really enjoyed it. I thought I would enjoy it. The trailers looked promising, but it was far better than I thought it was going to be. My rating for this, because I really couldn't fault it. I mean, if you wanted to fault it, you could say it was derivative. It's been done before, but it's derivative in a very respectful way. It's paying respect to these films, not just ripping them off shamelessly. It's got a good plot. There's a nice sort of resolution when the treasure sort of is revealed. And that's very nicely done. So I really can't fault this film. And because of that, I'm giving it a chunky 10 out of 10. Because I thought it was great, terrific piece of no-nonsense, fun entertainment. And really, that's as good as it gets. Right, that's The Lost City, is in cinemas now. I really recommend you go and see it because it's just great fun. Thank you for watching this video. As usual, like and subscribe. Leave a comment and all that sort of stuff. And I will see you soon with some more content. Until I do, hey, you got to keep taking the stuff.